sometimes I worry people listen to a podcast or even when I give a lecture that it's a nice concept. What we're talking about today is not a nice concept. This is a fundamental shift that every single one of us should be going through if we desire to have more blessings in our lives. 2 marshmallows rather than 1, for example. And that is, the internal dialogue needs to become louder. Again, when that thought comes, do this. Stop and say, this action that you can call it, or that voice is proposing for me to do, is poison for me. Because if I go down that path of not becoming a master of self-control and a master of restriction, then all areas of my life are going to suffer in the long term. The need for me to become a master of restriction is in order to allow every area of my life to prosper. And unless you start viewing that voice as suggesting poison, it's going to be very hard to restrict.
Like the witch in Snow White. I think also we need to be aware that voice coming to us, the fact that I had that negative thought to do something or whatever that would ultimately be detrimental to me is an indication that I need to go and do the exact opposite and try to look for other ways. Because why did you even have the thought, right? Why is that where your mind is prevailing?
Right.
So I think that I would take that as, oh my God, I had that thought. That thought's not me. That thought's really scary. I need to really up my game in the other side, in the way of positive. I also want to just differentiate repression and restriction, because I think often people confuse this. When, I hear sometimes people I meet with or different students, they say, I don't understand, this restriction thing's not working. When I get upset, I don't say anything and I hold it in and I'm still so angry. So that's not what we're saying, right? That is repression. Restriction is something really got you upset, right? You pause, you stop and say, okay, there's something valuable for me to learn here. And I need to sit with it and see how I feel. And maybe after 3 days, when I'm less emotional about it, if there's still something I feel the need to say or do, then I'll act upon it. It's creating really a space between cause and effect. So I just think it's important, because I think people they think restriction is, I'm just going to avoid that altogether. And that's not the
that's
case.
A very important point.
Sometimes you actually need to say something, but the thing is, when do you say it and how do you say it?
Right.